So in this video I will show you my ideas about the Creality High filament box and the ability to print in multicolors with waste. This thing is meant to be really user-friendly. It's 95% pre-assembled unit. The usual disclaimer out of the way. Creality sent this for review. I didn't pay for this. I don't have to send my video to them for approval. I wouldn't do such a thing. The opinions are my own here. This feels really sturdy. So we have the base plate here. This unibody style, I really like it. And they have the screen now here. Oh. If you don't need it, you just fold it away. Screw it in place, nothing, that's everything. And a little we put the sticker up here where it's best to place this filament spool holder if you don't use the CFS. Screw in place the gantry screws. Okay, let's just say that's sturdy enough. I don't even need a manual to see where this cable belongs to. There's a little clamp style thing in the back here, and the connector goes in only one way. Connected. Should be finished already, almost. There's this filament spool thingy. Is it also a runout sensor? No, it's not connected, it's just a guide. So the filament runout sensor needs to be directly in the print head. So the Teflon tube is installed. And then I'm covered really tidy and nicely. What a great looking 3D print. The manual is good because on the back side, here. 2 additional screws here. And then I thought I have one more of those mounting thingies here. I love it. It's a very tidy situation with my first powering up this thing. Let's just see how easy this works. I can choose between Chinese and English. Connect to my wireless LAN. Yeah. Now comes the wobbly part. I do like the look of the print head. It's very sleekly designed. Makes funny little sounds. But aside from these sounds, the device is quite silent. Which I notice right now for the first time. One thing that I also notice the auto leveling is made in a spiral movement, and the movements are really fast. A lot of mesh points, that's good. Okay, auto leveling completed. So this is the beautiful interface of this device. 8 GB of internal storage. Once again, you can root it, wait 30 seconds and press OK on the disclaimer. And the password is Creality 2024. Export mode, yes please. The screen is nice and responsive. It has a built-in camera, which I'm very happy about. With this privacy thing here that's transparent. It could have been black as well. High-speed testing. We need high-speed testing, yeah. The machine filament do not match the print file. Please check and try again. Come on. No. Edit. It's a Creality filament. It's PLA. It's Hyper PLA. Actually, it is Hyper PLA. Yes, it is. And the color shouldn't matter, but it's white. Now let's extrude. Parking and heating up the nozzle. It's fast enough. It's not lightning fast, but it's fast enough. Okay, he's feeding filament now. Oh, that's a good thing that we have a filament poop section now and not on the plate. Yeah, he shoots it out. That's the poop you get. Now the squeaking comes from the extruder. Okay, so a single filament extrude makes these 3 little poop shoots. Let's print something. I want to print the high-speed testing. Yeah, print. I don't need calibration because I did a calibration run. Preparing the print. Does it work? Yeah, it totally worked. Patch line was there nicely. All the way on the edge. I appreciate this. Not to waste too much space. On the printhead you see now the extrusion. and the retraction. So if it's clockwise, it extrudes, and if it's counterclockwise, it retracts. So it's a good visualization of what it actually has to do. It looks really nice. And I'm zooming in a lot now. Ah, now it's in the high-speed mode. Okay, I will fast forward and maybe show you the time lapse that the device created here with its little camera. Excited to see if this is any good quality. So far it's been an incredible experience. It shows you the amount of time and filament, and in this case it looks rather nice. Here on the side is the RFID chip reader, so you can read filaments if you buy them from them. Here we connect the CFS, so that's a little CAN bus connector for CFS, USB. So the base of the Creality High is larger than the NO3 version 3. Has a mid-sized print pad. So this is the large one from the K1 Max, 30 by 30. This is 26 by 26 centimeters, and this is 22 by 22, the standard size for most pad slingers. They are about the same size in terms of what kind of space they need. The 3 version 3 had its display like the K1 and K1 Max tucked in here. It's quite large, it's larger. So this is a larger display than on the new unit. The metal frame of the NO3 version 3 was open. The new one, as you see, is closed. Doesn't only have closed loop motors, but also like a closed unibody. This printhead is a bit smaller than the new printhead. Maybe the cooling is a bit better. And they got rid of this weird side spool mounted. You see, I didn't use it. The side spool mount that was here and it dangled. They went back to the normal top spool or CFS. Excited to use the CFS in the next try. Here's one really important lesson that I learned. This data cable is crucial for this whole buffer to work. The instructions were not clear to me, and I just connected this buffer with the top tube and the bottom tube and didn't connect the power cable. There's this one data and power cable that goes into CFS port 1. And the second port goes to the buffer, and this is important. So the buffer had no sensor input to the printer or the CFS. So why do we need this buffer? If you have the extruder, which is a gear that pulls on the filaments to feed it into the melting zone, it will pull this normally from your spool. If you have the spool in a mechanical box also with gears, you would need to make sure that the extruder gears and the gears in the filament run at exactly the same revolutions, and this is nearly impossible. And if you don't do this, you have tension on the filament and tear apart or stop, or under extrusion in the most probable case. So they decided to have a spring-loaded buffer, 4 centimeters, and if the sensor detects that the buffer is almost gone, then it will feed more from the filament spool. Creality RFID chip enabled spools. And I will just enter it a bit here. It even works when it's open, but you should close it so that there's a bit of pressure into the spool. When you power up the thing, it tries to load all spools to see if they work just. I used the long tube here, which is okay. This cable is too short. This cable for the buffer is long enough, but this is short, so I have to have my box up here. So I would supply 2 long cables. Yeah, and now just take a look in the Creality slicer. In the device tab, he recognized PLA, and this I symbol means that he read this with the RFID chip. He knows it's black hyper PLA. So this is the benefit if you use their proprietary hyper PLA. Else you just have to use your best guess on what color and of course on what settings. Okay, I want to print my Humi in color. It's a 1 hour 36 print job. If I go to print this plate, I think he auto guesses the slicer color to the loaded colors. So gray to gray, white white, yellow yellow and black black. Print this now. And this will be officially my first multicolor print job. Flying through the air, the multicolor is even represented in the thumbnail on the printer. I think the poop box will be quite full after the print job. Check out the underside of the bed, it's steel and it's very hot. Yellow filament is entering now. Extruding and pooping in a second. Wait for it, yeah? Start. My little Homi. Yellow on black works quite nice, and you already see the contours. First layer of yellow. Yellow to gray transmutations. The first one is really yellowish, and the next one should be more gray. Yeah. So I see. That's the reason for it to flush a few times, or once in that case. And he's also making a prime tower back there. Homi's beard is already done. And we have the next color change. It's a terrible waste of time and filaments to have color changes on each line, because white is the most susceptible to color impurities. First one, of course, is gray. Looks okay to the eye. So that's the amount of poop you get from a little color print job. But Homi never looked better. What do you think? I mean, it's technically still not 3D printing, rather 2D printing, but I like the looks, and it was just a test print. FDM print test came out pretty nice. It has some stringing, of course, but that's the point of this test. This one here looks a bit ugly. I see a good thing already. All the cylinders move kind of freely, except for the larger one. Little error here. But this is already a good sign for accuracy. Overhangs, the 15 degrees also looks nice. Visual artifacts, quite clear. Yeah, no complaints on this one. It's a bit of a complicated print here, and there's a little bit of error. It's finished. It took longer than expected and longer than calculated. 550. So this is the longest print job so far. Can we do this one-handed? Ooh, yeah. This is the support. It was really easy to be removed from the actual model, which means the accuracy is high enough for this. The only little problem this print had was here. Something was stuck on the build plate, I guess, or like fell off from the nozzle. Little impurity of print. But other than this rather long and kind of complicated print job worked flawlessly. It's kind of a stupid mistake to make. I forgot to use the build plate on it, so it printed my logo directly on the heat bed. It shows that the set offset really works. Now I really hope that this... Yeah, okay. Whew, that was a little bit of a frightening moment, because I thought I ruined my heat bed, but yeah, turns out I didn't. Okay, here we are printing a Star Wars robot, the BD-1. Last year I printed it in just grey. It's a nice model. It already produced a lot of color change poop. So far the print looks nice, so reliability is good. Okay, and now red filament is being loaded. I love to watch this. And now he will extrude a lot of red. And you see now it's still white, so he needs to flush a lot, not to have color bleeding. About this much is needed. See the first, but he will make a second one here. Now it's a good clean red, but the amount is coming from the slicer. The print has gone really well. I would never buy Lego in my age, but this is an excuse to be playful, which is nice, which is always nice. And that's what's not so nice. I mean, it was also another print, as you see the yellow ones, but there's a lot of waste going on. So let's build this. In terms of precision, the articulation moves really nice. But yeah, really nice model. And about reliability, I love it. When I come to the printer in the morning and a huge print job is ready. This is a little Amazon Echo Dot stand and it looks good. Very, very nice quality. I didn't use a brim because this has large enough feet. This is a mild overhang, so no problem, no supports here. And it looks nice. That's no warping, that's the way the model was. But the details, including this little passage here. This was a photogrammetry scan with my drone. Colors, I could have colored the roofs. I'm opposing this mess of a lot of color changes, so bit against the point of a color printer to not use the colors. Okay, I think I understood how to use TPU on the spool. It extrudes TPU like a pro. It shouldn't be the most flexible TPU, so Shore A98. The problem was I was under generic, and in generic you only have those 3 types. So if you ever come across this problem, make sure to be under Creality, and then you have more materials like TPU. Because the last time he complained, the slicer job wanted TPU. On the spool I could only use like ABS, and then it doesn't match and then it doesn't work. And to take off the cover, which is just secured by 2 screws, 1 on each side. You see the print head, controller board, a lot of fans, channels for the fans. The nozzle behind its silicone cover and the unicorn nozzle hidden there. And this is the extruder, and I thought I have to remove everything and unclog the extruder, but it actually worked by this simple trick of removing the PTFE tube, heating it up to 200 degrees, pressing this lever so the extruder gears are free, and then you just gently push down until you feel the end stop, the last resistance. It also helps to heat up the tip of the nozzle cleaner. If you really have something stuck, heat this up really good, push it in as far as you can, let it cool down so the filament sticks to the tip, and then you can pull it out. So I think that's also a good idea if you have a clogged nozzle. Change to a different color PLA so you see when the new filament is actually coming out in the extrusion process. Somewhere there behind this plastic lever is a filament knife that cuts off the filament and extrudes it, and then it pulls out. Color printers, you need a filament cutter to be able to change this automatically. And on the other side, the printhead drives against this, and the spring system then throws away actually it's this, and then it shoots it out, poops it out. There's also this one important tip regarding all of these PTFE tube connections. You have this kind of spring-loaded mechanism on this collar here, and you just press it in, and then you can easily tear out the PTFE tube. Don't try to tear this out, or even like stupid me did, tear out the white part. No, you press the white part in, and then you get out the PTFE tube. I already tore away this collar there. Also, if you watch it from this angle, you see that the horizontal rail is very skewed. So you think something's wrong with your printer. No, it's not. If the axes are not homed, that means they are not locked in. by moving up to the end stops and coming down, then these can move freely and independently, because we here have no synchronizing belt mechanism. We have two independent stepper motors, but those stepper motors are actually closed loop systems. That means they exactly know where they are in their movement range. So this is apparently one of the reasons for the vertical quality of prints is quite good. Okay, under port 4408 you get the fluid web interface. So while connecting the Wi-Fi, you should note the IP address, and then you just add the 4408 and you get to the web interface. It's fluid. For some reason it lacks the functionality to show the webcam here. Instead you directly go to this port 8000 to see the live feed, which works quite nice. As I said, the quality is not superb, but it serves the purpose of just showing you the print job works, something is moving, or if you have spaghetti. And here on the dashboard we have the standard things. You see I also printed a lot. Like my longest, I think this was the castle with 8 hours 43. The bed level is nice, but it's nice that you don't have to root anything, it just comes this way stock. Okay, with that being said, thanks a lot for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.